We always hear about the same countries, the same powers, the same problems. But while the world watches the headlines, some countries, quietly, rewrite their story. From volcanic valleys to post-conflict nations, these are the top 5 countries doing better than you think. Africa, a continent often misunderstood, painted with broad strokes of poverty and instability. But far in the south lies a diamond that tells a different story. Coming in at number 5, Botswana. In 1966, Botswana gained independence from Britain as one of the poorest countries in the world. It had just 12 kilometers of paved roads and barely any healthcare, education, or economic infrastructure. Its GDP per capita was under $100. With a small population of just 2.5 million, few expected it to succeed. But instead of following a familiar story of instability and underdevelopment, Botswana pulled off a miracle. Unlike other resource-rich African nations trapped in chaos, Botswana made a different choice. It prioritized strong institutions, anti-corruption, and steady progress. Instead of letting diamond wealth fall into the hands of warlords or elites, the country built transparent, state-owned enterprises, partnered with foreign investors, and reinvested profits into free education, healthcare, and infrastructure. This wasn't luck. It was a carefully engineered national strategy. For decades, Botswana has maintained Africa's most stable multi-party democracy, free from major internal conflict or coups. It's consistently ranked by Transparency International as the continent's least corrupt nation. Adjusted for purchasing power, its quality of life now rivals middle-income countries like Mexico. Literacy is high, clean water is widespread, and a growing middle class is reshaping the economy. And they know diamonds won't last forever. Today, Botswana is investing heavily in sustainable tourism, fintech, clean energy, and logistics, turning its resource edge into long-term competitiveness. Botswana proves that even a small, resource-based economy can defy the odds and exceed expectations with the right systems in place. Set between 2 oceans and dotted with volcanoes, this Central American nation is often seen as a natural paradise. But its true power lies not in its landscapes. It lies in its choices. Among the countries quietly reinventing themselves, this one stands out as the 4th on our list. This is Costa Rica. Costa Rica may appear to be just a tropical paradise, and it absolutely is. But what's truly impressive is how this tiny Central American nation has built a peaceful, progressive society, not by conforming, but by radically choosing a different path. In 1949, Costa Rica made a radical decision. It abolished its military. Instead of tanks and missiles, it chose to invest in classrooms, hospitals, and national parks. That philosophy laid the groundwork for one of the most stable and socially advanced countries in Latin America. Today, Costa Rica is often held up as a model for sustainable development. It's powered by more than 98% renewable energy. It has near universal healthcare, and its literacy rate hovers above 97%. The country has also successfully moved beyond agriculture, transitioning into a service and technology-driven economy. Tourism, medical device exports, and information technology now drive its GDP. Its geographic location, bridging North and South America and flanked by 2 oceans, gives it a strategic edge in trade and global connectivity. And for years, it's ranked as one of the safest countries in the region. Costa Rica shows that strength doesn't always come from force. Sometimes, it comes from vision. A vision rooted in education, peace, and environmental stewardship. You wouldn't expect this tiny island to lead Africa in democracy, but it does. Peaceful, progressive, and surprisingly powerful. That's why Mauritius lands at number 3. Mauritius may be just a small island nation floating in the Indian Ocean, but its impact far exceeds its size. Since gaining independence in 1968, Mauritius has undergone one of the most successful economic transitions in Africa. From a low-income economy reliant on sugarcane exports, it's evolved into a diversified upper-middle-income country with a vibrant mix of tourism, textiles, finance, real estate, and technology. In 2024, Mauritius again ranked as one of Africa's most economically free and well-governed nations. Its per capita income, now over $12,000, places it among the highest in Africa. But more important than raw numbers is how inclusively the country has grown. Mauritius has invested heavily in universal education, accessible healthcare, and poverty reduction programs. Its economic gains have extended to the broad base of the population, not just the elite. Even new sectors are thriving. Renewable energy, fisheries, and medical tourism are all bringing fresh jobs and foreign investment. Socially, Mauritius scores high on gender equality and civil liberties, and its democracy is among the most stable on the continent. Mauritius is proof that size doesn't dictate destiny, and that thoughtful governance can elevate even the smallest players into regional role models. Number 2 on our list is a country that once symbolized struggle, but today it represents one of the most remarkable transformations in modern Asia. This is Vietnam. In the early 1970s, Vietnam was devastated, not just by decades of war, but by deep, widespread poverty. When the war finally ended in 1975, nearly 70% of its population lived below the poverty line. Its economy was stagnant, heavily centralized, and largely disconnected from the global market. But in 1986, everything began to change. Through a bold series of reforms known as Doi Moi, Vietnam began shifting toward a socialist-oriented market economy. It opened its doors to trade, welcomed foreign investment, and encouraged private enterprise, without abandoning its core governance model. The results have been stunning. Over the past 30 years, Vietnam has averaged over 6% GDP growth annually. Once one of the world's poorest nations, it's now among the fastest-growing economies on Earth. And that poverty rate has fallen from 70% to just 2.5%, one of the most dramatic reductions in modern economic history. Today, Vietnam is a manufacturing superpower, but it's not just about factories or low costs. It's about how this nation, once struggling with extreme poverty, has turned itself into a vital hub for some of the world's biggest companies. These factories don't just produce goods, they represent a new level of efficiency and skill that the global market respects. But there's more beneath the surface. Vietnam's digital economy is quietly growing, driven by a wave of young entrepreneurs and innovators. From fintech to software startups, they are creating opportunities not only for themselves, but for the entire region. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Vietnam stood out again, maintaining positive growth while much of the world shut down. This story is about more than numbers. It's about a country that refuses to be defined by its past, instead breaking barriers and building a future filled with promise and determination. Taking the top spot is a country that once fell apart, and then rebuilt like few ever have. Rwanda. If you recognize this hotel, you surely know the country and its indelible scars. In 1994, Rwanda endured one of the worst genocides in modern history, with over 800,000 killed in just 100 days. This tragedy once defined Rwanda. But what followed is one of the most astonishing rebirths in human history. Just one generation later, Rwanda has transformed into a symbol of progress in East Africa. Kigali is now celebrated as one of the cleanest and safest capitals in the region. Plastic bags have been banned nationwide since 2008, turning the city into a benchmark for urban cleanliness and environmental care. Cashless payments are widely adopted, even in rural areas, reflecting Rwanda's leap into the digital age. Every month, the entire nation unites in Umuganda, a national cleanup day that goes beyond civic duty, embodying the country's strong culture of community and responsibility. Beyond cultural change, Rwanda's economy is booming. The service sector, covering banking, education, hospitality, telecom, and public administration, now accounts for nearly half of the country's GDP. Tourism has surged, fueled by Rwanda's protected habitats and the unique opportunity to track endangered mountain gorillas. In 2024 alone, over 1.4 million visitors generated more than $600 million in tourism revenue. Rwanda also leads Africa in gender equality, with women holding over 60% of parliamentary seats, the highest in the world. Small in size but mighty in impact, Rwanda stands as a global model of post-conflict recovery, blending economic growth with reconciliation, stability, and equality. Rwanda's story isn't just about survival, it's about transformation, and how a nation shattered by tragedy became one of Africa's most promising futures. These aren't the countries that get daily coverage on global news networks. They're not known for dominating trade wars or leading superpower summits. But perhaps that's exactly why their progress is so remarkable. From Africa to Asia to Central America, these nations prove that success isn't reserved for the usual suspects. With smart policies, transparent governance, and the courage to try something different, transformation can happen anywhere.